What the absolute am I looking at right now, Funko? What kind of are you releasing now? So for the past few weeks, I was on a pro wrestling tour across Ontario and Manitoba. And one of the things I never got to do until I actually came home from this tour a couple of days ago is actually check out the recent Funko Pop announcements and see whether they're absolute fire or they're absolute trash. I'm DK Wrestler, and we're going to be looking at the most recent Funko Pop announcements and my opinion of them, so let's get right to it. So the first announcement we're going to be looking at is a brand new pop of Ghostface from Scream, which there's going to be a 10-inch version, a regular 4-inch version, and then there is a glow-in-the-dark version exclusive to Amazon. So it is really cool to see the return of Ghostface in Funko Pop form because those OG pops, including one that is owned by my co-host MD Shady, is really expensive on the secondary market. And so now if you could never afford that really high priced Ghostface pop, then now this is your best solution on getting one into your collection. And I know I've heard some opinions about the way that the eyes look, which I think I could see what people are saying, but it doesn't really bug me as much as it's bugging a lot of people. Next up, we have a new set of Stranger Things pops, which first we have ourselves the Scoops Ahoy pops of Steve, Robin, and Demogorgon, along with the first ever Murray pop and a Moments of Max at the Cemetery. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with these Scoop Ahoy pops, whether it's a new, like, I guess, specification, or maybe this is their version of, like, maybe the Pride pops that we've seen in the past. And then finally, it took Funko long enough to make a Murray pop, and I'm super happy. This is obviously from season 4, where he has the flamethrower involved in that scene, so that's really cool. And people have been wondering when this Max at Cemetery was coming out, considering that it was a part of that leaked list, along with the confirmed pops of, like, Chrissy and the new Vecna that had already been announced recently. And this is a really awesome looking Funko Pop, especially making the eyes white as if her eyes are being rolled to the back of her head, just like you see in the actual scene involved in Stranger Things. Then we have some sporadic announcements like a new Snoopy Pop, TLC, we have Etch-a-Sketch for the Retro Toys lineup, and then we have Pebbles with the Fruity Pebbles and the first Honeycombs monster. So I'm not going to talk about like the Snoopy and TLC, but I am excited that there is an Etch-a-Sketch pop. I think that's pretty cool. And then there is also the Honeycombs mascot, which is also really awesome. It's an ad icon that I think should have been made a long time ago. But my question is, Funko, when are you going to do a Cinnamon Toast Crunch pop? Especially because that's my favorite cereal, and it just so happens, I don't know if I can stretch my foot this high, but I am wearing Cinnamon Toast Crunch socks. Ow. Now I got some sort of cramp in my leg. That was a really bad stretch. The next pop we're talking about is the brand new Captain America. Now this is going to be the first of a few pops that I'm actually disappointed about this month, considering that I believe this is the redeemable pop that you get when you cash in that redemption code from the Upper Deck packs that had released a few years back. And it's funny to see a lot of people crap on me about doing the Funko NFTs and how it's kind of, I guess, a scam in a way because you're gambling away money to see if you can get Funko Pops, but that's exactly what happened here with the Upper Deck cards, except you got physical cards instead of digital, and you actually didn't even know what the Funko Pop was until this was recently announced, considering that there's actually retailers in the UK that have started getting this pop. So realistically, this version of what was the Funko NFTs was actually a scam because you didn't even know what redeemable you were getting when getting the cards. This is definitely worse than pretty much any Funko NFT pop that has ever been done, in my opinion. Next pop we're talking about is a brand new Entertainment Earth exclusive Batman for the 85th anniversary lineup. And although I'm not entirely the biggest fan of the Batman pops, the way that this pop looks actually is pretty cool. We have a set of patchwork pops with Batman, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and the Joker. And what's very intriguing about this is that this is basically, I guess, the Funko version of the collectible known as Handmade by Robots, where it looks like it's basically a knitted figure but in a plastic vinyl form, which is what Handmade by Robots is. I actually have one in my collection being Buzz Lightyear, thanks to MD Shady, who picked me up one at Five Below when he was in the States last summer. I wonder if they're going to do this with other lineups like, let's say, Marvel or even Disney in the near future. Next up, we're going to be talking about the next NFT drop, which is the Disney Afternoon Drop. This drop, of course, being a drop exclusive, so for me, I am going to have to fork up some cash instead of buying packs on Atomic Hub, since the packs are only exclusive to the drop marketplace. And I'm not going to go into detail too much about each of the characters because I'm going to be doing that in next week's Disney Afternoon NFT drop video that I'll be doing on this channel. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the highly anticipated Chainsaw Man Funko Pops, and this was in the rumor mill for quite a while as one of those animes that people have been wanting pops for. U2's had capitalized on this anime already for their figures, and now Funko finally did it with their figure, and the Chainsaw Man pop itself is really awesome, especially with that bloody variant of the Chase figure, and I believe there's also a Funko Shop exclusive version of one of the characters, so that's cool that there's also exclusives involved. So I think this may be a popular set, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Chainsaw Man gets its own exclusive pop for, let's say, a San Diego Comic-Con coming up, or even New York Comic-Con later on this year. Next up is the 2024 NBA Championship Boston Celtics 5-pack. Now, of course, recently the Boston Celtics did win the NBA championship, and sooner rather than later, the NHL Finals is going to be concluding, where it's going to be either Edmonton Oilers or the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I like this idea of giving a championship Funko Pop, or Funko Pops in this case, to the winner of that specific year. We did get this for MLB earlier this year. We got it for the Kansas City Chiefs for the NFL, and last year for NHL we had only got one singular pop with the Stanley Cup, that being Jack Eichel for Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm hoping that later this year, or actually probably would be confirmed in the next few days, knowing how the Stanley Cup Finals are going right now, of whether Florida Panthers or Edmonton Oilers will get their Funko Pop, and hopefully it is a multi-pack. Next pop I'm talking about is an Entertainment Earth exclusive Eddie Van Halen, which will be limited to 5,000 pieces. Now, this pop kind of looks very similar to one of the more recent Eddie Van Halen pops that has that exact same guitar, so I don't really remember the difference between that recent one and this one, and I'm not sure whether to believe that this actually will be 5,000 pieces, considering that we had originally had those Fanatics exclusive WWE pops that were also 5,000 pieces, but then you've seen them in, let's say, Australia and the UK with the special edition sticker, so it doesn't really make it 5,000 pieces. So I think this is going to be the same thing, where it's 5,000 pieces maybe in the US for Entertainment Earth, but you're going to see them all over the place with the special edition sticker, whether it's in the UK, Australia, or especially where I'm from, being Canada. Next pop we're talking about is also an Entertainment Earth exclusive, and this is what I was alluding to in the beginning of this video. It's a Despicable Me 4 and BTS multi-pack, and this is garbaggio. I just don't understand what the point is of doing this kind of mashup. I get it for like Alien Remix and maybe the Stitch and Costume mashups, but what was the point of doing Minions with BTS? I don't know, that's just such a weird lineup to do, and I honestly don't know how this will sell. Then we have ourselves a brand new set of Pokemon Pops, which features Blaziken and Teddy Ursa. I didn't mention the last Pokemon because I couldn't pronounce the name correctly, and I didn't want to butcher in front of you guys, but there is a Flock Chimchar that just got recently announced that's going to be exclusive to the Funko Shops. These pops are pretty decent, not gonna lie. They're kind of getting better with the shorter waves of pops. Next up is a brand new specialty series exclusive Jack Sparrow, and this is really awesome. We haven't gotten Pirates of the Caribbean pops in quite a while, so I'm really glad that we got this new one coming out, and especially in more of a deluxe form, even though I believe it is releasing as a 4-inch pop. Then something up my alley is a Harpies Lady Pop and Tea bundle for Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course, I'm trying to get the entire set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops, and this is just another one to add to the collection. I believe this is just a different color variant to the already existing Harpy Lady Pop, whether it is the common or the chase. So it is going to be weird having 3 Harpies Ladies in my collection, but if I want to get the whole set, I am going to have to get this one. And also, I do like the Funko t-shirts they've done so far for Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up is a Spider-Man Pop comic covers, and this is actually really wicked. I love the design of this pop, where it does have that comic book sketching, making it white and black, and I think they did an excellent job. This may be one of the best comic book covers that Funko has done thus far. Next up is a brand new Kiss 4-pack that's going to be exclusive to the Funko Shop. I like the design of this, considering that it gives me the vibes of those separate albums they did back in the day, where if you bought the vinyls, one is Gene Simmons, one is Paul Stanley, and then you have the other members, and it has this same colorway for each of the pops. So I think that's where they're basing off of, and I think that's a pretty decent idea, instead of just, you know, making these same molds and just adding a specification like metallic or glow in the dark like they've done in the past. And last but not least for this video that really excited me is the new Guns N' Roses pops that are going to be exclusive to the Funko shop. And it's really awesome to see these, considering that these are the skull variants that you see on the cover of Appetite for Destruction. And the first time we kind of seen this in Funko form was actually in the ever so unpopular lineup of Funko Gold, where it was the chase variants of each of these band members. And so to finally get these in pop form realistically, besides, now as I think about it, the Appetite for Destruction Pop Deluxe albums is really cool, and I like the design of how they did these. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these are completely different molds compared to those older Guns N' Roses pops, and maybe different molds from the newer ones they did. I can't exactly remember. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video of me talking about my opinion of some of June 2024's announcements, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below on what your favorite announcements have been thus far, whether I've talked about them or not, and I hope to see you guys in the next video on the channel. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.